What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Man Up Club Presents podcasts. I am your host, Celena, Lena, aka Sis from Sis and Lil Bro. But for the Man Up Club, I am the program coordinator. The Man Up Club is a nonprofit mentor leadership organization for young Black men within the Twin Cities, Minnesota. We teach life skills, social skills, academic discipline, and civic responsibility, and it is a blessing to work there. Today, we are going to talk about confidence, and I have a very special guest with me. His name is David Smith. David.
Hey. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yes, it is a blessing to be alive.
Right.
Come on now. It's another day. So confidence. We're going to talk about, societal relation, because relating to people, that is a big part of confidence.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to dive into confidence when it comes to just being a Black man, and even some other things, like how does confidence relate to faith. So let's get into it. When we had a conversation before, one of the things that you had mentioned to me that stood out was that you struggled, or maybe not struggled, I should say, but you struggle with relating to people.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I think a part of that is because of my upbringing, I would say. I grew up in a Christian home, and of course, not everybody has that same background, so I'm not listening to the growing up, I'm not listening to the same music that everybody else is listening to. I'm not doing the same dances that everybody else is really doing, or really doing much dancing at all per se.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of certain cultural references or things that maybe I didn't get or couldn't really get into or relate to because of my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of evolved into, just not really fitting in certain places. So that's why I think I've really been able to find community within the music community, since that's what I do. And everything, but anywhere else, depending on the situation, sometimes I can kind of have trouble figuring out what to do, who to talk to, what to say, depending on the space. But one thing I've been working on is just just going up to people and striking a conversation, and wherever it goes, that's where it goes.
For sure.
So.
And you and I can both relate when it comes to being in the music world. Speaking of, can you give everyone a tidbit of who you are?
Yeah, so once again, my name is David Smith. I'm originally from the great suburb of Woodbury, Minnesota. I'm a musician, producer, and live music programmer. And I've been doing that full time since I graduated from college.
And he's 24 years old, and he is super cold at what he does. Y'all, I'm gonna just hype you up, because you should give people flowers while they're alive. And what you create is top quality. Okay, he ain't just doing this as a hobby. David Smith is cold. Okay, he is cold like ice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Cold like Minnesota.
Yes, super humble about it, but he is literally the truth. So,
thank you.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, that's real for you to say that. And the thing about it is the amount of talent that you have, and the level that you do what you do, it's you struggle with confidence. It's well, whatever you're doing, it don't matter how cold you are. Struggling with confidence is a human thing. I mean, I'll say for myself, I struggle with confidence today too. And you say that you struggle with relating to people because there's not a lot that you can relate to people about, when it comes to our culture, especially hip hop culture and stuff like that. I feel what you're saying. For me, I don't struggle with relating to people. I'm a social butterfly, and I could talk to a stranger about anything, but I struggle with being confident in myself.
Sure.
So the question becomes, where does true confidence come from? Or I should say, how much of true confidence is dependent upon the way that people see you? What do you think? Like
Um,
if you were to give a percentage.
I don't know, cause like I feel like it's not how other people see you, it's how you think other people see you. So I
Mm,
think if you think that other people see you as a certain way, then you're gonna think either more negatively or positively about yourself. Because like unless somebody tells you what they think about you, you have absolutely no clue how they may feel. And so I feel like that can sometimes play a part, but it's really not what other people are saying about you. It's what um you're actually thinking about yourself
I
in a
agree with
sense.
that. I agree with that. But let me say something. Let me agree to disagree on something that you said.
Sure.
One little part. You said that you know you don't know what a person thinks about you unless they tell you, right?
Hmm.
But in a lot of circumstances, you can know based on how people treat you,
Oh yeah, that as well.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like with a lot of black people, for example, going into a room or with a whole bunch of white people who may have um a higher living status
Yeah.
or position, for example, in construction. The Man Up Club, we have a not so we have not right. The Man Up Club has a youth build construction program where they're able to learn everything there is to know about the construction industry and get a trade through there. But um, in the construction industry, there's not a lot of black people,
Right.
right? So when you're a black person going into that environment, they might not say anything to you like, "Oh, I don't think you know too much," but they may treat you a certain way, like they may look at you like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
who is this guy walking in?" Or you know what I'm saying. So it's a both and of like there's vibes that people can give off towards you, and then it makes you like second guess yourself.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a time where you've ever like faced that where like you face like maybe it's not even blatant like racism, but it's been like people have seen you a certain way or treated you a certain way, or you've got this certain vibe based off of just your appearance?
Um, honestly, I can't really point out any specific moments because I feel like I don't know, maybe the people around me are really good at hiding it because Minnesota racism is real tucked in, right? It's not as aggressive
The
as it
Minnesota
is
nice?
in exactly, yeah, Minnesota passive aggressive, you know what it is, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really say I've experienced that too much, but I will say when I am in those situations, like I try to disprove whatever they may already think about me.
Mm.
So in that case, like it's almost like an opposite like confidence switch for me, where it's like, oh, okay, they might think of me this way because of how I look, and I'm just like, I want to be able to disprove any preconceived notions that they may have because they
Mhm.
might expect me to, maybe not greet them or say hello or whatever, but like, I'll be like, oh hey, how's it going? My name's David. I play piano, whatever. Like I recently just played a show where it was like a Good Friday show. It was mostly like older, like white people.
Okay.
So it's like you never know what you're what you're gonna get with them, but a lot of them were, they seem really nice and they appreciate the music. But then again, it's like, okay, if I didn't have this music or they didn't see me playing the piano or know what I'm able to do, would they still treat me the same way?
Mm.
So I feel like sometimes when you have like a gift like that, it kind of gets you into I don't know, it gets you into different rooms, but then also like you also it also makes you wonder, like what I was just saying, like okay, if I didn't have this special gift that I have, what would they think about me?
That is so real. Like and for you to even have that thought, it's like I know other people have felt like that too.
Hmm.
You know, have I had that thought of, oh, if I wasn't doing this, um, would I be treated this certain way? Honestly, I would say I can't think of a time that I've really thought that. And I don't know if that's because I'm a female, um, and men have it like different.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that men and women have a different level or expectation of other people when it comes to the way that people? Okay, let me remix the question.
Sure.
Do you think that men and women struggle with confidence differently because of their genders, or no?
I would say so.
Really?
You know, um there's different things that men and women go through, you know, every day. And like it's like there's so many different societal pressures that are on women, I would say. Like you have to like look a certain way or do things a certain way. You have to, you know, whatever it is. So it's like I just feel like there's probably more pressure on women than there is men because it's like
That's true,
yeah,
actually.
it's like men you can go out pretty much looking any sort of kind of way and nobody will really care. But I feel like society puts more pressure on women to be a little bit more cheerful or whatever. Just have like some sort of like you kind of see what I'm
Oh yeah,
getting at.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
like I
yeah,
feel like there's more pressure.
yeah,
More
you just
pressure
made me
there.
rethink. Like, actually, I would argue that women have it harder when it comes to
Oh
confidence in
yeah, 100%.
society. We do, because like you said, we're expected to be polite, don't be too assertive, um, be attractive to look at, but also intelligent. And then these days it's like, if you're not a woman as a boss, like being a boss
Hmm.
in certain crowds, that may be looked down upon. But then there's other crowds that are like, oh, like I just stay at home and deal with the kids. So, um, that's not an issue. But yeah, like I would actually say that we do have it a little harder.
Yeah,
And then on top of that, it's like thinking about being a black woman, um,
and an artist too for yourself.
and an artist. You think that being an artist is like more pressure of
Being
from
a
society?
female artist, hip hop
Well, oh,
artist at that.
right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
100%.
So yeah, because when you're an artist, it's like, okay, like you said, when you're a female artist, you gotta make it when you're young, because that entertainment industry not gonna like you when you're old.
Right.
So that's real. This is the Man Up Club Presents podcast, and we will get right back to you. What up, y'all? We are back with the Man Up Club Presents podcast. We're talking about confidence with David Smith. Confidence ain't always loud. And what I mean by that is you ain't got to be the loudest person in the room to be confident. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But one question I want to ask is, do you think that confidence is taught or felt?
In my experience, I feel like it's more so felt because I feel like when because anybody could tell you or teach you anything, but like it's up to you to apply it and really feel like you're confident,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they both kind of go hand in hand. Like somebody's got to teach you how, or somebody can teach you how, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to you to really build that experience. Because I feel like for me, personally, my confidence is built through experience. Like if I'm doing something for like the first time, like it's like some sort of new task, I might be a little bit more nervous because I'm just like, okay, this is unfamiliar territory. I don't know what's going on. What are we doing here? Right. But I'm gonna prepare so that way when it's time to, do whatever it is that I have to do, then I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my confidence comes from preparation. So if I don't feel super confident in something, or like maybe like a gig or something, um, you know, I feel like I have more confidence after I've prepared and put in the work.
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also think what you're saying can be elaborated on more, because isn't that a little dangerous when you
Mm.
say that my confidence comes from my experiences? It's like if you have bad experiences and you
Sure.
get bad feedback,
Hmm.
and maybe it's not even music, because you do that, you do that well, you kill that, but like if
Well,
it's other situations,
yeah.
then I guess what I'm trying to say is there's two different types of confidence.
Hmm.
There's confidence in who you are as a person and what you represent, and confidence in your own presence. and then there's confidence in what you do
Yeah, like
and how you
situations.
do it.
Right.
Where are you with both? If you were to rank yourself first with who you are as a person, where's your confidence at
Um,
right now?
I'd say it's like a 6 or 7
Out of 10?
or so. Yeah, out of 10.
Okay.
Because I think I'm still, I feel like I'm always working through something. Like I'm always trying to overcome, you know, I don't know, pressure per se. I don't really feel a lot of pressure here. Um, but in what I do, I definitely have a lot of confidence. Um, just because I know the gift that God has given me, and I know the work that I've put in, just like into my craft in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I can do like any task that's presented to me,
So you'd
and
rate that like a 10 or 9
yeah, like 9 or 10.
in what you do. Okay.
Yeah,
But the personal confidence, that's
yeah. I'm still a work in progress with that. 'Cause, I feel like even doing this is like a step for me. I'm like, oh man, I'm talking, I'm on a mic, like I don't even be talking to people besides like my close friends, like, super often. So
mm-hmm.
so even this is like, okay, this is like a confidence building
Booster, right.
exercise, you know?
Right.
So um yeah, because I feel like I haven't always been the best talker. Sometimes I feel like people may not want to hear what I have to say because like when I was a kid, we'd be in like a group of people or whatever, and I would say something and everything goes silent. I'm like, oh man, like did nobody hear what I say, or was what I said like just not productive? Nobody really cared. So like I kind of slowly went from being a lot more talkative to a bit more, reserved.
Mm.
So I think that's kind of played a part in that.
What? Why do you think that was? Like, was it the type of friends that she was around? Like, was that were the people who were reacting like that to you? Were they just people that you was in school with and they really didn't relate to you, or what was that from?
I think it was like it was like a it was like me trying to fit in with everyone. So like I think with that type of stuff, it'd more so be towards the quote unquote like popular-ish crowd. But I feel like that's kind of the response they might have because I don't really have that like popular personality, or anything. So, um, but I feel like between like my peers and the people that I would actually talk to, like I wouldn't see that as much.
You know what? Pause, because it's cool to me how I'm just kind of in like a little awe,
Yeah,
but it's crazy how like you're saying like, oh, I wasn't. Yeah, I definitely don't have no popular persona, but it's like me meeting you now. It's like you're so cool.
thanks.
Like he's genuinely like just thanks. But it's like for real, but
Like I would say like popular in like a traditional
in
like
a
sense, you know what I
okay,
mean? Where it's like,
right.
oh, they got all the people around them, blah 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 blah, bunch of charisma. Like I'm the opposite. I'm a square. I don't know, any of the popular things like that really, but yeah, I don't know.
But I think that's what's unique about you is like like you describe it. Oh, I'm a square, but it's like what's so unique is like you said, you have this God given talent. But then again, I hear you when you say, if I didn't have this,
Hmm.
what would people think of me?
Right. But then even I think
Hmm.
that's where this saying really comes into mind, where it's like be a better person than you are a musician.
Say that again.
Be a better person
Mm-hmm.
than you are a musician because like
Mm.
um I feel like being a like in the music space, I feel like being a good person will get you farther than just having the talent and being a good musician,
That's a fact.
right? Because there's a lot of people that have amazing talent and are some of the most creative people I've ever met, but because of maybe their attitude or how they present themselves, or maybe whatever they do outside of music, maybe they don't get the same calls that I do, even though they're probably more qualified or more talented than I am.
That is so real. And it doesn't just apply to music. It applies to any occupation or career or talent or gift that you have.
Yeah.
What you said is that was for me for one, but it's for other people too. Be a better person than you are as an artist
Yeah.
or as a carpenter or
Yeah.
as a teacher or whatever you do. It's like be a better person as a whole.
Right. Like I want to be remembered like as a cool person. Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody could strike up a conversation, be like, "Oh yeah, like that guy, he's cool."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like of course he's like talented or whatever you want to say, but like I want to be remembered as like just being a cool person, just getting along with everybody, and just making sure everybody feels seen that's around me.
Yeah, that's real, and I love that. And we in the next segment that will also segue into confidence and faith because you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm a Christian, and it's like thinking about being a child of God. How does that play into confidence? We'll dive into that in a second. But I want to go back to the whole idea of is confidence taught or felt, and I think that confidence weighs more on the felt side
Yeah.
because of what you said. Um, and at the same time, for me, I'm working on my confidence, and it's something that I'm teaching myself as well because I don't feel confident. So there's things that
Sure.
I'm doing to feel more confident. For example, saying affirmations to myself. I haven't been consistent in that yet, but I've implemented affirmations into my life more. Even if it's just thinking it in my head,
Yeah.
like even if it's just telling myself, Selena, you are beautiful. Selena, you are intelligent. You know, that's a practical way of practicing confidence.
Yeah.
What would you say is pieces of advice for young men out there who are dealing with confidence issues? As a person who's going through
Yeah.
confidence
I'm just like,
issues.
oh man, that's tough because I'm still going through it. I think one thing that definitely helps me, um, well, I guess I mean you could save this for the next segment maybe, but I think like just spending time with God, I think that really helps my confidence overall because um, I know that He's gonna take care of whatever it is that I have to get through for that day or whatever it is in the future. So it's like I feel like confidence and faith kind of go hand in hand.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like, okay, I have faith that I'm gonna be able to, do whatever it is I need to do. I have faith that I'm gonna be able to come on a podcast and talk about confidence, even though I feel like I don't have it in
Yes.
myself all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I feel like you know the more time I spend with God, the more confident I feel. So it's like just dedicating that time to Him. Um, yeah, that really helps me like overall. Like there's just like a certain lift that I feel, um, just going throughout my day after I've like prayed or just sat in the Word for a bit.
Mm.
So
Real. That is the David Smith on confidence. No, that's real though. I like that. I think a lot of people will definitely find that helpful. And for people who may not have a relationship with God, um, you know, confidence is something that we all go through.
mhm.
And it's like you just have to one know that you're valuable. Okay? Like I know why we all valuable because we're made in his image, but you're a human being, you're here. And that when you start with that, it's like you derive that confidence knowing that you are valuable.
Mhm.
This is the Man Up Club Presents podcast, and we are diving deeper. What's up, guys? Back on the third segment of the Man Up Club Presents podcast. We're talking about confidence with Mr. Smith, and we're talking about God and Godfidence. Anyways, okay, so I like what you said, when you talked about getting your confidence from God. I think that's very real and that's why that's part of the reason why we're meant to be in relationship with God, is because when we spend that time with him, we're able to know who we are in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And it trumps everything else.
100%.
You know, because God covers everything else. It's like, and what I mean by that is when I'm praying to God and when I am just alone and it's me and God's word, I'm like powering up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm reading words that tell me, you know, you are faithfully and wonderfully made.
Beautifully and wonderfully made.
Thank you. Beautifully and wonderfully made. You are the head and not the tail. I have plans to prosper you, give you hope, give you a future, you know, all those things. And the fact that Christ died for me and rose so that I could have life eternally, that's amazing, you know, and he's a personal savior.
Mm-hmm.
So I matter to God, the creator of the universe, the creator of life itself, and the source of all hope. And like the fact that God knows each of our names, like our real names, like the names of our souls and who we are, it's like, I wonder. The
amount of hairs on your head.
Yeah, like the amount of hairs in your head. It's like, wow, like if you just like soak in that and meditate in that, it's like, dang, I am super important.
Right.
But at the same time, you also can be arrogant and get a really, really big head.
Yep.
And God doesn't like that. God wants us to be confident and know our worth and walk in that. But God doesn't want us to be, what's the word?
Prideful?
Yes. Prideful, arrogant. Yeah. So how do you know the difference? Or how do you know you've reached your limit?
I think with pride, it's a lot of, I feel it's like when you start to compare yourself to others, right? So it's like, I feel like confidence is like, oh, hey, I feel like I'm really good at, let's say, playing the piano, right? In this instance, I feel like I'm really good at playing the piano. I've practiced a whole bunch, and I feel like I can do anything. Mm-hmm. I feel like pride or arrogance is like, oh, I'm the best in the world. I don't have anything else that I need to learn. I'm better than everybody else. I'm better than you. Why does that guy have that gig? I should be on that gig because I'm way better than that guy. I feel like that's like pride and arrogance.
I agree.
Is when you start to like put down others.
I agree. And when you feel like you don't have anything else to learn.
Yeah. Nothing else to learn. You're not teachable. You feel like you know everything.
Right. Because this world is too deep for us to know everything. We can't. Yeah, we don't live long enough to know everything. And in your skill, like you can always go deeper.
Right, yeah.
You can always be better because we're never perfect.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
So have you ever gone through a season in your life where you were prideful or where you did think that you were better than someone else or people in general?
Sometimes. But I try to stay away from that because I know that even though I might, have like a lot of accolades and stuff, there's always going to be somebody that might be working harder than I am. Mm-hmm. And I just have no clue who they are, and they're just going to pop up one day and just boom. So it's just like, I try to stay away from that because sometimes I'll catch myself getting into that, and I'm like, oh, wait, no. I should not be saying, oh, I think I'm the best at this. I'm the best at, because truth is there are people that are better than me that in what I do. Like there's people that can make better like live arrangements and better programming than I can. Like they're sonically better, and that is awesome because I think that there should be people that are better than me that I can learn from. They can learn something from me. I think it's important to have people of different skills coming together rather than, like going against each other, because I feel like the reason people start to try to compete with each other is because of pride. It's like, oh, I'm trying to beat them. I'm trying to one up them.
Mhm.
I like healthy competition where it's like, maybe you're like learning from each other, and then they do something that's like super insane, and then you're like, yeah, that's awesome, rather than
Yes.
being like, no, that's better than what I did. You see
Right.
the difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that depends on the person
Sure. Yeah.
because what you're talking about is mentorship
Mm.
in a way.
Yeah.
And that's why, I know at the Man Up Club, the mentors teach we're based on mentorship. So it's
Right.
like part of that includes having people that are ahead of you in life.
Yes.
But like you said, you also want to have people who you're ahead of
Hmm.
in life because it gives you that well-rounded perspective of where you're at.
Right.
It allows you to, operate in that space of, okay, I know there's people who are doing better than me, and so I have room to I gotta grow. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not the best, or clearly I haven't reached my full potential because
Hmm.
people up here at this level, they killing it. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, at the same time, I'm also I'm also a role model to other people though too.
Right.
And I'm doing things that other people are trying to do.
Hmm.
Um and that just keeps a well-rounded person.
Yeah.
See, but like you said, you could have two people in that same situation where they have people ahead of them and people who are trying to catch up to them.
Hmm.
But Billy, he he may be like, oh, I seen, yeah, these people are ahead of me, but that they're he's a hater. Billy's a
Yeah.
hater. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like, oh, he's not doing nothing for real. All his accolades are fake.
Right.
Whatever.
And then you got Samson, and Samson's like,
Yeah.
oh no, like I'm just, actively doing me, and I just know that, you know, I just need to do better for myself, and really like the biggest
Yeah.
competition is to just make myself better.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's real too. Um and let's also talk about confidence, not in what we're doing, but also personal confidence. Because there's something to be said about like when you look at a person's character,
Yeah.
and you admire their character, or you admire the way they talk, or you admire uh the way that they can stand up in a room and speak their mind and command the room. Cuz I have a person in mind
Hmm.
when I think about that. And it's like, oh man, I want to be like that. But then other people may see me and they're like, "Oh, Selena, you can get up in front of and on the stage and you can, be on a podcast and you do this and you do that." But they don't know behind closed doors that I struggle a lot,
Mm.
you know? So it's like personal things that you're working on. But do you have a role model or like a mentor that you look up to, or mentors that you look up to?
Oh yeah, I would say so. I'd say like my number one role model is my dad. He he's the he's the past. Well, he's a pastor too, so he has to literally like get up and talk in front of people every week. I'm just like, yeah, that in and of itself is really inspirational to me, because it's just like there's so much work that he has to put in to be able to do that.
Mhm.
And plus, like, he has a job, he's a father, like, like he's definitely one of my biggest inspirations, and it's just amazing to see how he is in like certain rooms. And because like there's some times where he's like more reserved, like me, like that's where I get my reservedness from, is from
Okay.
him. And then there's other times where he's a bit more like outgoing, and you know but he's definitely like my biggest inspiration. And it's like he always seems really really confident in what he's doing, because like especially when you're a pastor, like you have to be confident in what you're saying. And I feel
Right.
like then again that also comes with just being prepared, and everything. So
Does your dad have any musical talent?
he he like a lot of church kids in the 70s and 80s, um they all learned how to play the drums or some sort of instrument. So he grew up playing the drums and was actually the first drummer that our church ever had. And he like bought the first drum set and everything. And he taught my brother how to play the drums, and he was like 2 or 3. And then
Wow.
my brother showed me how to play, and then you know, so yeah, he definitely is musically inclined. He can still like sing and stuff too. Um so yeah, I think I definitely get um some of my music skills from him because he started it all. You
Mhm.
know. So
How did your father instill confidence in you directly? Cuz see he just it sounds like just by being him and doing what he
yeah,
do, he
'cause
was
it's
you
it
see him, you see yourself in him.
exactly like it was never like it was more of a like lead by example type situation than like, hey, you got to be this. Like he's never been like that kind of like person, but he's more of like a lead by example. Because like I feel like I'm a really visual learner too.
Mhm.
Like I feel like if I can see an example of something, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
Mhm.
You know, rather than like someone having to tell me. Because I feel like I'm a very analytical person. So like when I see how something is done, I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
For sure. And that is so important and so beautiful to hear you say that. I love that experience for you. Um, One of the things that is preached in the Man Up Club is the importance of showing up.
Mm.
And Mr. Dean says, um, oh shoot, oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher it. Like showing up to show up is to man up. It's
Hmm.
to show up is to man up, or to man up is to show up. It's one and the same,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
We get the
and
concept.
right. And
Yeah,
it's like your father clearly showed up for you and is still showing up for
yeah,
you know. But unfortunately, there are so many black men who don't have that experience,
right.
you know. So that is a beautiful thing for you to hear. I mean, for me to hear. Um, and if you don't have that experience, you can get that from another man who is doing, you know, upstanding things.
Yeah.
This is the Man Up Club Presents podcast with another one. We are back with the Man Up Club Presents podcast, talking about confidence in all types of angles, confidence with faith, confidence in social relation to each other, self-confidence in yourself. But what we want to go deeper into is just confidence as a black man. Okay. You mentioned that you grew up, what, in Woodbury?
Woodbury,
Woodbury.
next to Wisconsin,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
So
You betcha.
yeah, so compared to here, I'm from down south. Some people argue, a lot of people argue that Louisville, Kentucky is not southern enough. But listen, me moving up here, it's the South, okay? And that's how I classify the region that I'm from. And I'm proud to say that. And I just want to make my case by saying that,
Go ahead.
right, being from Louisville, Kentucky, we have southern values, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. And it's like, you know, that's southern hospitality. Like,
It's below the Mason-Dixon line, isn't it?
I don't know about that. I don't even know about that. I ain't never heard of that. The Mason-Dixon line.
You don't know what the Mason-Dixon line
No,
is?
I
Civil
don't.
War.
Oh, I'm
It's
tripping.
separated the North and the South.
Yes.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
didn't know it was called the Mason-Dixon
Oh,
line.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, like there's a confidence that I have when it comes to like being from down the South. And let me just add to what I'm talking about. There's a difference between Southern black men and Northern black men. And so you might not know nothing about that, David.
Not much. Met
But let me just
a couple
tell
Southerners.
let me just tell you something, okay?
Go ahead.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like Southern black men, they just got this swag to them.
Yeah.
Like they just got, you got swag, you know, you got your own swag. You got
It's okay. It's okay.
No, listen.
It's all right.
No, you got your own. Everybody got their own swag because you do got a swag. Okay, so I want to be clear about that.
A little bit.
But there's a distinct type of swag that I'm talking about, and it's that Southern swag where it's just like it's just like come here, shawty, like what I'm saying, like let me open the door for you. Not saying that you don't open doors or that Northern guys don't open doors, but I don't know, guys. I don't know, but people, if you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. So with that being said, what has your experience being born and raised up here in Minnesota as a Black man? What has that been like?
I never really had to think about it until like later.
Okay.
But I feel like even specifically here in the region that I grew up in, like honestly, if it wasn't for the church that I go to, I would not. I don't think I would have the culture experience that I have because
if it wasn't for the church that you go to.
Yeah,
so you go to a predominantly Black church?
Yeah, that's correct. So,
really? Okay.
Like just growing up in Woodbury, like even a lot of the Black people. Well, I mean, there wasn't a lot, but like a lot of them were also like of African descent, where like maybe their parents were like African immigrants from somewhere else, rather than like being Black American like I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I really got more in tune with my culture being around my friends that were Black American, that were a little bit more into the culture and had a bit more of those cultural values instilled in them than I was maybe coming across at school, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've had to find your way into that.
Yeah, I'd say so. But like even then, like I feel like
wait, hold on. Don't forget what you said. So you've had to find your way into identifying with your Black culture. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's not really something I really like thought about. It's like I like growing up, it's like, okay, I know I'm Black. I know I have like I don't know, it's like kind of like I said, like I wouldn't have known as much that I know if it wasn't for being around like my own people at church, because that's where I had soul food for the first time.
What?
That's where I'm hearing.
What age were you?
I was born and raised at, like, or just, are you saying like in general?
What
or
age were you when you had soul food for the first time?
Probably when I was like I don't know, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that you didn't have soul food.
Yeah, not that it was like late.
Nah.
Nah.
Okay.
So like I grew up like in the church, so that's where like all my like culture comes from. Because I feel like a lot of Black culture has stemmed from the Black church. Like especially like the food. Like, where are you gonna have the best soul food? Probably after a church service or something, right? Or even after a funeral. That's always like when you have the best chicken, right? But like the best chicken I've ever had was at a repast. Like, I kid you not.
Oh wow.
But like there's so many things that you're introduced to in church that like I just would have never gotten, like just being at school and just being around a lot of white people and people that I don't share the same cultural experience with.
Another thing is too, you get that soul in church.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, you talk about like the essence of Black culture, like the yeah. It's like there's so much soul,
Just something about it.
Yeah, like I remember when I first came up here to when I was first starting to come here to Minnesota, and I was in the church services at Shiloh Temple International Church. And I came from a Catholic background where, you go to church and it's very quiet.
Yeah, very quiet, more organized.
Right, organized. Yeah. There's not any
Shiloh's the complete opposite.
Yes, the complete opposite. It's not right. Like, I was going to church and everyone sings in unison, like hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Very choral, like
Yeah. So it was just, very regimented, and like there's no like, doing things spontaneously.
Right.
And then coming into Shiloh was like, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh yeah. Big difference.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Love my
And
Shiloh family.
yeah, the people like screaming, oh, like, you know, just that whole
Yeah.
thing. But, you know, me being half African American and half Filipina, like, I've definitely been blessed to experience the value of being able to experience the value of walking in both cultural identities. You know, like I fully am confident saying like I am a Black woman, okay? But I'm also an Asian woman,
Yeah.
a Filipino woman. So that's been a blessing to be able to walk through, you know. Um and speaking of, you know, confidence and like knowing your self-worth and walking in it and, you know, identifying with your cultural group, um I am aware that you are with a Black woman. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
See, and you know, it's like when society looks at a Black man with a Black woman, you get a lot of different opinions based on, you know, different circles.
Sure, yeah.
Can you kind of elaborate on maybe some experiences that you've had? Have you experienced different opinions on your relationship?
Nah, not really. Like, if anything, it's only been like positive stuff. Like Braylon, she has a lot of friends that are white men. It's very
Okay.
very interesting because she went to
Your
Penn
girlfriend.
State. Yeah,
Okay.
yep. She went to Penn State, and so yeah, she has a lot of friends that are white men, and they all are just like, oh my gosh, like your relationship is like so awesome. They'll like
That's
go to her for like relationship advice, and she's able to use examples from what we have. So it's like I haven't really encountered anything negative per se. Um, for either of us, or even really relating to that. I feel like if I was with a white woman, I might hear ramblings of, oh, he's with a white woman or whatever, right? But like since I'm with like a Black woman, I don't feel like I've faced any, adversity because of that
Yeah, I know.
of any sorts.
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because what you said, that's true. Like when you're in a interracial relationship, I feel like you do get a lot of crap for people.
Yeah,
Um but then also, like I said, it depends on like who you talk to, but obviously you haven't experienced any, you know, physical, any personal opinions that have attacked your relationship from a racial standpoint.
yeah,
But of course, we could think of, you know, generally what people might say or, you know, be in support of it for these reasons and being not supportive of it and other reasons. Like, for example, do you think that like some people may say like what is it? And obviously we're speaking in kind of like hypotheticals, but it's all for it's all
content.
some people have actually really gone through this though. Like it
Yeah,
may not be you, but it's other people. Like what I'm saying is like, okay, you have two Black people in a relationship, right? So there's other people that may look at that and be like, okay, good that they're staying together. That's how they're supposed to be.
mm-hmm.
They're supposed to, you know, white people should be with white people, Asian people should be with Asian people, and Black people should be with Black people. See, and that's even kind of like that's kind of like a negative too, in a way.
Yeah, because I know for me personally, look, I wanted to be with a Black woman, right?
Oh, you
So,
intentionally said that.
oh yeah, yeah. Me personally, like I didn't want to go any other way. It's like I find value in shared experience,
Mm-hmm.
and shared culture, and we both had a similar upbringing, and we have similar culture, except she's from Baltimore, I'm from Minnesota, so there's still a difference in Black culture there, but there's still
Which is
a
fun.
lot of similarities. But I'll take that over, maybe having to like show someone everything from my culture,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to really understand it. But like we're locked in, like we just understand, everything is awesome. So there's not a lot of explaining I have to. If anything, she teaches me more about Black culture because she's from Baltimore. I'm from Minnesota. I'm from the suburbs of Minnesota. So if
Right.
anything, she's taught me a whole lot. So
That's sweet. this is a perfect cap off. We have a segment on the Man Up Club Presents podcast where we finish the sentence, and it goes like this: I love when a man, and I finish it, and you'll say I love when a woman. So I love when a man shows courtesy to a woman. Now you can finish your sentence.
I love when a woman shows confidence.
Classic. Love it.
Ties it all together.
I know that's right. This has been another episode of the Man Up Club Presents podcast. And tune in on Holy Culture Radio.